Shove it, man!
Alright, it's the Smack Talker. Just carrying on where I left off last week with the 1000th episode of TNA Impact. Apologies that this video is a little bit late. I'm going to include 2 Impact episode reviews here and this one instead to make up for that. I've got front row tickets for the Newcastle pay-per-view next month, and I honestly don't want to even go. So I've got to find a way to try and enjoy this show. TNA is what brought me to this dance, so I'm rooting for this company more than anyone else. I'm not a fan of any other company, I have no agenda, but right now, in my opinion, this Impact show is worse than anyone else's. Anyway, I did the same thing with AEW for All In at Wembley last month, so I've got to try and give Impact a fair shot, even if the show sucks. And I actually did end up enjoying aspects of AEW, so that wasn't a complete failure. This episode of Impact opens up with an Ultimate X match. A bunch of unknown jobbers are already here. They're joined by Speedball, Mike Bailey and overrated Ace Austin. God, this crowd is horrible. Look at all those empty seats. Now, considering this is essentially another anniversary show, there aren't actually any X Division legends in this match. I guess the fact that it's an Ultimate X match in the first place is the draw here. The Blue Power Ranger is really good. He actually has some really cool moves, I'm not taking the piss. His name is the Samurai. Never heard of him before. Everyone hits crazy dives out of the ring. 3 luchadors do moonsaults off the Ultimate X structure at the same time. Mike Bailey and Alan Angels fight on top of the structure. It is a pretty cool spectacle. Samurai does some crazy work as the crowd gasp in awe. They shake the cables and he's drop-kicked down from them. I can't believe Rich Swann was the world champion in this company. It feels like that's made up. Barefooted Bailey is hanging from the ropes for ages. I have no idea what he's even doing up there. He's just chilling up there like a complete goofball. He isn't even trying to win. After 5 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating, it was 5 minutes, everyone remembers that he's still up there and they all climb up to meet him in the middle. Bailey and Angels both kick each other down, so Mike Bailey is a massive loser. Alan Angels gets the X, but he can't get down to the mat with it. No, never mind, he just drops it and falls down after it. The crowd groan with annoyance. Alan Angels is now the #1 contender for the X Division title. In the back, he gets to cut a promo. He says he's the future of the X Division. He'll be the front man of TNA. He says he's not a dweeb and he's cashing in his title shot with Sabre next week. Fandango and referee John E. Bravo are here now. Suddenly a box pops up and Chase Stevens is here, one half of the Naturals. Now a lot of people watching probably don't even know who that is, and they say I'm not a fan. Fandango has the mic and says he hates pro wrestling, and that's his entire promo. He takes on Jake something, which is the most horrible name in the history of wrestling. This guy is a proper unit though. I love that this match has the old Shove Sportsnet setup. It's a really nice little throwback that they've done deliberately. But only if you're a proper TNA nerd like me though. Apparently, if there's no winner after 10 minutes, Chase Stevens will decide the winner of this match. Fandango is scared of Jake something. He slams Fandango on the outside of the ring. Dango actually starts wrestling properly in the ring now. Jake yells, "What's my name?" and the crowd say, "Something." He spears and barges Fandango off the ring apron. Johnny Bravo threatens to hit someone with a torch. He accidentally hits his own guy with the flashlight though, and Jake beats Fandango with a sidewalk slam. Chase Stevens will not be needed. That was pathetic. Why even claim that he's part of the show? He clearly wasn't even in the same arena. He didn't talk, he didn't do anything, and it was a waste of time. They might as well have just got a picture off Google Images and stuck it in the corner. Steve Macklin cuts a promo saying that he wants to end Rhino's career. Rhino gores him, he looks like a bowl of gravy. Santino Marella asks Rhino if he's out of his minds. Rhino says he only did it because Macklin tried to end his career. Pretty fair if you ask me. Kenny King is apparently here to relieve his sexual frustrations. He has a little friend called Sheldon Cooper. His opponent is Eric Young with Team Canada music. I thought Eric Young was evil, now he's just a happy old man. He's positively beaming. We start with a shove-off. Scott D'Amore desperately tries to start an Eric Young chant with the 50 people in attendance. Within 10 seconds, Sheldon Cooper jumps Young and the match is thrown out. Shark Boy's music hits. His Stone Cold impression has somehow got a lot worse over the years and he no longer sounds anything like the Rattlesnake. As Shark Boy is in charge of the show, he restarts the match, but it will now be a tag match, and it's Young tagging with Scott D'Amore on the dance floor. The bell rings and Cody Deaner's Hillbilly crew jump everyone, and the match is thrown out again. Shark Boy says this match will now be an 8-man tag, and he says tagging with Team Canada will be America's Most Wanted, James Storm and Chris Harris. Storm is probably in the best shape of his career, but more importantly, it's the most healthy I've seen Chris Harris look in a long time. He's clearly been able to visit the gym, so that's great news for him. Eric Young starts with Sheldon Cooper. Young tags in Scott D'Amore, who apparently trained this guy. D'Amore tags Chris Harris. The Wildcat yanks his arm and tags the Cowboy. The pace quickens with Storm and Kenny King. Is Kenny King still a stripper? America's Most Wanted work together and Harris hits the Bulldog. It stops being funny when Eric Young and Cody Deaner come face to face. These two have a personal feud over the colour yellow or something. This match is probably at its best when James Storm is in there. Kenny King and his buddies smash him with kicks. It's actually quite a long match. Young makes a blind tag and hits the elbow drop for a 2 count. He tries to hit him with a pile driver, but Kenny King blockbusters him. Chris Harris nails him with the diving lariat. Connor, the Rat, and Chris Harris square off. Storm helps his partner get him out the ring and they throw Kenny King out with him. Storm hits Deaner with the last call super kick. Scott D'Amore hits Shelton Cooper with the Sky High, and Eric Young finishes him off with the pile driver. I think Cooper is their Canadian student. That was strange, no death sentence for the finish for AMW. I guess Harris couldn't do either of the jobs in that move due to his health. A fun little match anyway. Now it's the results of Feast or Fired from last week. Some dork from Busted Ass Radio will host it. But first, because TNA can't afford to do enough stuff for the anniversary, they replayed the entire Dudley Boys promo from last week. I guess it ate up some more TV time. Back to the cases. Wait, why did the Dudley Boys promo play between those two segments? Dave Lagana asked them all what they hope to find in their case. Yaya says tag team champions. Chris Bay also wants a tag title shot. Moose also wants a tag team title shot. Crazy Steve says he hopes to find a heart, a liver or a lungs. He doesn't get that though. Instead he gets a digital media title shot. He's very happy. Moose opens his case and he gets the world title shot. Completely agree with that decision. Moose doesn't though. He says he was really hoping for a tag team title shot. What is wrong with everyone on this show? Chris Bay gets the tag team title shot that they were all after, and Yuya is fired. I can't say I'm too sad at this news. I'm not even sure who Yuya is. They should have played fart noises at the opening of his case. Joe Hendry looks like he's trying not to laugh. Some stoner kids wander out now. It's Trey Miguel accompanied by Zachary Wentz. He will take on Perk Ankle, the main character on this show nowadays. They do this series of moves with Trey Miguel trying to dive on Alexander and at the same time Alexander's trying to catch him and slam him. I normally wouldn't like this, but it's actually a really fun trade-off. Eventually in the ring, Alexander hits a German suplex with authority. The other rascal distracts Alexander and Miguel is able to finally dive on him. The cheatings and distractions continue. Miguel's all over him like a bad shirt. Eventually Alexander catches him with a released German suplex which flips Miguel onto his face like a diseased dolphin. The bean kicks in and Alexander starts going nuts. Josh Alexander picks him up and bowls him through the air. Miguel looks like a leaf caught in the wind. Somehow just a 2 count. Trey Miguel does a handspring into a wacky kick and that's another 2 for him. Alexander catches him now with a lucky clothesline, but he isn't able to hit the middle rope Green Bay plunge. Miguel does a Frankensteiner and a diving double knee. Perk tries to turn it into an ankle lock which doesn't work. Alex Shelley randomly takes out the other little rascal and Josh Alexander wins the match with a C4 spike. In case you missed it, Alex Shelley is now a heel, and he's also the world champion. Josh Alexander thanks him for the help. Alex Shelley calls him Joshua and says he wasn't trying to help him out, he just wanted to hit the stoner kids. Alexander says he'll be taking Shelley's belt at Bound for Glory, which I guess is in October at some point. Breaking news is that Will Ospreay will fight Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball meets with Jonathan Gresham backstage. Gresham brags about being a world champion. When was he a world champion before? They're passive aggressive towards each other. Bailey suggests they have a match against each other next week. Gresham agrees. Elsewhere backstage, a guy is moaning to the stoner kids that he wants a tag title shot. Chris Bay and Ace Austin walk up with a tag title briefcase. They will get the tag team title shot first. What a bunch of little dorks. I can't believe I'm going to have to watch these people live. The only thing left is the women's match, which was set up last week. So here's the rundown. Awesome Kong teams up with Gail Kim, who gets a huge ovation from all 50 fans. Also on this team is Mickie James and Royden Grace, who has pieces of trash stuck to her hair. Her arms are 3 times the size of the stoner kids' bodies. At this point, I may actually have to disagree with LA Knight's comments about her. I actually could believe that Jordynne Grace could beat up a man, especially in this company. Why not put her in the world title scene? She's legitimately more believable than most of the men. Also on the team is Trinity. She has a nightclub gimmick. They take on Tasha Steelz. And some of the team don't even get an entrance, probably because the only partners that matter are the beautiful people. Only Angelina Love is wrestling though. Hang on, why didn't they put Angelina on the other team? That way they could have had TNA Legends versus current wrestlers. What a dumb move. You'd think that one would be obvious. It's probably the last time we'll ever see Velvet Sky let the pigeons loose in Impact Wrestling. The commentary team talk about all the star power in this match and they can't believe it. I can't believe it either. I've had to sit through this show full of nobodies. Angelina shakes her Labradors at Trinity. Trinity picks her up and shakes her bread bin at her. The crowd keep chanting juicy or pussy or something. Trinity thinks Angelina is a roll and tries to put her in the bread bin now. Tags are made as Royden Grace and Giselle Shaw face off. According to fans' comments on my videos, Giselle Shaw is currently the most attractive knockout in Impact. So congratulations to her for that award. Royden hits her with the Roid Rage, but it's broken up. Mickie James is in now with the seated senton. Giselle gets kicked down as Mickie screams goodnight, but it's not goodnight and the match continues. Tasha Steelz and Mickie James face off. James kicks her and slaps her. I learned that Mickie James was the Impact champion until she was injured 6 months ago and had to relinquish the title. Gail Kim gets the tag, who hasn't wrestled in 4 years. She falls short on her crossbody on Deonna. Kim takes out Giselle and Deonna at the same time now as she rolls back the years. The crowd chant, "You've still got it." Velvet takes her out on the outside. Gail is now isolated. Angelina Love side slams her for a 2. Giselle Shaw loses the advantage as Gail Kim puts her in an octopus. Shaw manages to get out of it by ramming her hard in the corner. And she does a full Nelson into a backbreaker and a flatliner. The pin is broken up. Gail Kim eventually gets Awesome Kong in. She completely smacks everyone. Deonna Purrazzo is chokeslammed. Tasha Steelz is drilled. Kong can't do anything else though and she's jumped. The match breaks down. Trinity goes out the ring on 2 girls. Everyone starts diving. Then out of nowhere, Gail Kim does a crazy dive to the outside. This was a thing of beauty. They set this up so well that it wasn't obvious that Gail Kim was about to dive. Definitely my smack of the night. Giselle is left in the ring with Awesome Kong. She gets fisted and chokeslammed. It's not enough and Kong picks her up and hits the implant buster. That is the 3. Definitely a fun match and a match of the night. The women consistently outshine the men in Impact, and this has been the case for years now. The beautiful people take out a jobber and put a brown paper bag over that person's head. 1,000 episodes of Impact, yay, on to the next show we go. God help us all. Assuming it's going to be more of the same, but worse now because there won't be any nostalgia. We open up the show with Alan Angels challenging for the X Division title. I've noticed that Impact are doing this thing where they talk about winning records and streaks. You know, just like AEW do. The champion is Crisp Saban. Crisp does an early bow and arrow hold. That never works. Alan Angel takes over the match and works on Saban's left arm. Alan Angels almost beats him with a trapping Northern Light suplex. It's weird seeing Alan Angels wrestle like this. Last time I saw him he was flying everywhere. The crowd chants Hell Saban and they encourage him to turn the match around. Every time Saban gets anywhere his arm starts hurting. Alan Angels randomly tries to hit Saban with a title belt but he can't manage it. There's almost a ref bump and Alan Angels smacks Saban in the nutsack. He kicks him in the head but surprisingly it's just a 2. Angels misses his frog splash attempt, allowing Saban to hit a missile dropkick and the cradle shot for the 3. Not too bad overall, it did tell a story. Saban's celebrations are interrupted by a video package playing. It's a package of some random... I'm kidding, it's Kenta, and he'll face Saban at Bound for Glory. Alex Shelley is interviewed now about having to face Perk Alexander at Bound for Glory. Shelley says he's the face of the company and he wants Josh to respect that. Out now, £300 of gravy. It's Rhino. He no longer runs down the ramp, and that's either because he's too old to run down the ramp or the arena is just too small for him to run down the ramp. Possibly both. He's taken on a jobber called Jack Price who treats the girls nice. This might not be completely straightforward. The jobber drop kicks him and Rhino has to bail from the ring. Rhino takes control on the outside. He drops the jobber on the apron and clotheslines him. Rhino tells us he's the man. Not for the last 2 decades, you're not. The jobber is launched into the ring and Rhino wins with a gore. He can't celebrate for long though because Steve Macklin jumps him. Is Impact wasting this Macklin guy? I'm still completely undecided. I know he can cut a good promo and he is in shape, but is he too generic? I don't know, let me know in the comments, what is this guy missing to make it? Rhino fights him away. The War Machine is back and he needs a smack. Rasha Steelz is in the back telling us that she's a badass. I think she has Tourette's because she keeps saying random things. Deonna Purrazzo marches up and says she missed her. Sounds like they're going to team up. Not sure why. Oh no, it's Eddie Slapnut Edwards and Miss Piss. They're sulking at losing to Frankie Kazarian and Tracy Brooks last week. Eddie says this is not over. I wish it was. Kazarian is here. He says he'd love to have a fight now, but security will stop them. He says he'll speak to management about Slapnut Edwards. Either Kaz has shrunk, or Slapnut Edwards has grown. Joe Hendry and his little friend are here now. They have a lot of fun dancing around and entertaining the crowd, but not for much longer because Yo-Yo is fired and they're here to address that. Joe Hendry speaks to the crowd for a while before handing the mic to his friend. Before Yo-Yo can say anything, the little rascals interrupt. These two guys look like they need a bath. Hendry calls them the second and third best rascals. They try to do na 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 goodbye. It hurts my ears. Hendry and his friend clear the rascals from the ring. Santina Marella storms out and says he was enjoying the segment until the rascals ruined it. He says that the four of them are going to have a little tag match tonight. In fact, it'll be right now. If Team Joya win, then Yo-Yo can keep his job. Wow, what a cop-out that is. The Feast of Fired gimmick is properly dead. And zero build-up to make it important. It literally happened the show before. Why not build up how sad he is about getting fired? I guess that would be too much of a storyline for this company to handle. I've said it before and I've said it again. They just don't care about storylines. All they want to do is flip-flop around the ring. Joe Hendry uses his opponent's back as a drum, which is the best part of this match. I wish someone would force these rascals to have a shower. The rascals kill Yo-Yo for ages. Considering his job is on the line here, he doesn't seem to be very good. Eventually, Yo-Yo counters a handspring for dropkick. Joe Hendry gets the tag. He hits Miguel with the Scott Hall special, the sack of shit. He also hits the other guy with a sack of shit. Then Hendry picks up both rascals at once and hits them both with a double sack of shit. They aren't hurt though and they start kicking everyone again and do a double stomp. I wish someone would kick them into a lake. Joe Hendry eventually gets bored and catches one of them. Team Joya do a double team, which is just a 2 count. Everyone ends up exhausted on the ground. When they get up, Team Joya do the exact same double team, but this time the pin is broken up. The ref is distracted and Yaya gets kicked in the nutsack and spray painted in the eyes. Trey Miguel wins the match. Wow, Team Joya deserves to go away after that. They had a chance and they barely tried to save their team. In the back, Giselle Shaw, everyone's favourite TNA Knockout, is interviewed. She says tonight she will win the Knockouts Championship. The interviewer chick looks at Giselle with envy. All the men want her and all the women want to be her. Hillbilly, Cody Deaner and Connor the Rat are in a weird red room. He wants to kill Eric Young or something. It's actually a very good promo. Shame it's from Cody Deaner. He also threatens Perk Alexander, so I guess he's the main heel on this show. I'm not really sure. Heath Slater and Tommy Dreamer set to have a street fight against Kenny King and that Sheldon Cooper guy again. How exciting. I actually feel like Impact should let this entire male roster's contract expire and start afresh. I desperately want to enjoy this one, but it's so difficult. The best stuff is Dreamer falling into weapons over and over again. Kenny King and Heath run off. It proves to be a bad choice to leave young jobber Sheldon Cooper alone with Tommy Dreamer. Within 5 seconds of him being on his own, Cooper is picked up and Dreamer DVDs him through a table to end the match. You had one job, Sheldon Cooper, one job. Dreamer is celebrating when Crazy Steve jumps Dreamer from behind with a briefcase which he won last week in Feast of Fired. I think Tommy Dreamer is the digital media champion, so that's what that's about. Ace Austin and Chris Bay also have a suitcase. They're excited for their tag title match. I've just had a thought. I think they should turn Ace Austin into Ajax from the Warriors. He kind of looks like him. They meet up with some other guy called Skylark. They call him short. They're not wrong. They also make fun of the fact that he's got 0 friends. Speaking of short, the squid Jonathan Gresham is here. This must be the shortest roster of all time. At this point, there's a complete lack of diversity, and I'd argue that they're actually against tall people. Someone in charge hates tall people. This stuff goes both ways, you know. This needs to change. It looks like amateur hour. It looks like fake people trying to pretend to wrestle. He faces Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm trying so hard, but every match is the same people. Jonathan Gresham looks like Bobby Lashley if Lashley shrunk in the wash. Do you think Royden Grace dominates her husband? Does she grab him around the throat and literally beat the out of him? I can't do this, I'm going insane. Jonathan Gresham wins with a wacky pin. He looks so funny doing his roid walk up the ramp. He looks like a constipated crab. Moose and Brian Myers have a pleasant exchange backstage. Moose says it's been a long time since he was the greatest world champion in Impact. Yeah, he's got that right. He's wasted a lot of years. Josh Macklin is walking around trying to look annoyed. He finds Bully Ray breaking into Giselle Shaw's locker and sniffing up. Macklin wants help from Bully to take out Rhino. Bully will talk to Rhino. This show is just crying out for someone to do something. Macklin calls him SAWFT, soft. Judging by my comments section, a lot of you will be relieved to know that Giselle Shaw is all over this show. She takes on Raver Trinity now for the women's belt. For some reason they tell us multiple times on commentary that it will be Trinity's first time wrestling in the UK for like a year. Like that's some sort of big deal. Trinity has some really fun offense, it's pretty unique stuff. The match turns when Giselle Shaw smashes her into the steps. Giselle does keep getting too cocky. Why haven't AEW signed this girl yet, or is there some sort of bad history that I don't know about? Trinity eventually grazes her with a diving kick. The crowd chant Booker T. Trinity does a Samoan drop, and I guess I'm okay at that by proxy. She's not a fat guy, but she's sort of Samoan. She misses her kick and she's hit with that dodgy backbreaker into the flatliner again. Trinity does a heat-seeking power driver which doesn't get the job done. She then does some sort of other move instead. I'm pretty sure she has the match won with the move, but instead she puts Giselle Shaw in a submission for the tap-out win. A decent main event. Giselle's minions try to beat up Trinity and then Mickie James makes the save. They agree to have a Knockouts title match at Bound for Glory. A friend versus a friend match with no storyline. How exciting. Right, that's it. I'm so sorry, this show is appalling. 0 out of 10. I'd rather watch all 4 AEW shows back to back than another episode of Impact. I don't know what to do with my front row tickets. I'm not sure I could even get through a show. There would literally be nobody exciting for me to watch. I can't lie and pretend that I'm excited to see someone like Squishy Gresham. Just make Royden the champion. It's probably the best thing you can do at this point to get everyone talking. I can buy that she could beat anyone on this roster. Hit me with a brick, punch me in the gut, slap me in the jaw and call my mum a whore. This show is a chore, and if you don't agree with that, I'll keep showing you a flaw.